So in the last lecture, we have completed with a chapter which was being called to be as probability and probability distribution. Probability and probability distribution. And after completing with this term, which is being called to be as probability and probability distribution, we are going to start with one of the most important and with the finest chapter of statistics, which has been called to be as a theoretical distribution. ये देखो theoretical distribution बोलो. And now when we are going to start with this new topic, which has been called to be as a theoretical distribution. But in that case, it is compulsory each and every student they should know sir, what is the meaning of the term a theoretical distribution. What is the meaning of the term a theoretical distribution? So when we talk about the term theoretical distribution, we can say that a theoretical distribution they are being defined theoretical distribution they are being defined to be as a mathematical models. They are being defined to be as the mathematical models which are being used for finding the probabilities, which are being used for finding the probabilities at different class intervals or at the different mass point. And since this type of mathematical models they exist only in the terms of theory. They exist only in the terms of theory. Hence, it is being called to be as a theoretical distribution. Hence, it is being called to be as a theoretical distribution. So here, in this given chapter, we are going to study about a different mathematical models. I repeat, we are going to study about a different mathematical models again, and by using that different mathematical models we are going to learn how to find the probabilities, how to find the probabilities at the different class intervals or at the different mass points. So immediately there comes a doubt asking a question. Yes, sir, in spite of studying with the chapter which has been called to be as probability and probability distribution. Probability and probability distribution. So, sir, why it is necessary that we have to study about the chapter which is called to be as theoretical distribution, which has been called to be as theoretical distribution. The answer to that question is this chapter probability and probability distribution it was having a limitation. अच्छा what kind of limitations it was having कोई बता सकता है मुझे इसको याद है बड़ा probability and probability distribution के limitations the probability chapter बड़ा it was being used only for the finite number of trials it was being used only for the finite number of trials finite number of trials as the number of trials it went on increasing the use of the probability it went on decreasing. For example, by using probability, we could able to solve the problem only with respect to with respect to one coins, two coins, or with respect to three coins. क्या तुम लोग by using probability क्या तुम लोग उससे 8 coins, 9 coins, 10 coins का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर पाए थे? चलो मैसेज करो मुझे फटाफट, यस और नो. अच्छा with respect to probability, है ना, we can solve the problem only with respect to one die, or we can solve the problem with respect to two dice. क्या हम लोग वहाँ पे कभी 5 dice, 6 dice, 7 dice का जो प्रॉब्लम है क्या हम लोग वो प्रोबेबिलिटी से कभी सॉल्व कर पाते हैं? कर रहा है. तो जो प्रॉब्लम जो प्रॉब्लम हम लोग यहाँ पे जो सॉल्व नहीं कर पाए बाय यूजिंग द प्रोबेबिलिटी, that problem it can be solved by using a theoretical distribution. That problem it can be solved by using a theoretical distribution. Hence, in other words, we can say that in order to overcome the limitations of probability, it became necessary to study about a new chapter which has been called to be as a theoretical distribution model. Theoretical distribution, they are being classified in two types. They are being classified in two types. One is which has been called to be as a discrete theoretical distribution model. And number two, which is being called to be as a continuous theoretical distribution. One, which is called to be as a discrete theoretical distribution. And second one is it is a continuous theoretical distribution. अब ये जो word है discrete and continuous, it seems that they are known terms, right? Discrete and continuous. They are the known terms, right? सुना हुआ लग रहा है ना? They are the types of the random variable, discrete random variable and a continuous random variable. Right? So depending upon the values, which are being taken by a random variable, depending upon the values which are being taken by a random variable, theoretical distribution, it is being classified in two types. Theoretical distribution, it is being classified in two types. One is a discrete, another one is continuous. Discrete means in such type of theoretical distribution, random variable will take complete values, and in case of a continuous theoretical distribution, random variable it can take any value. Any value means कोई भी value, even in the decimal point also. Even in the decimal point also. So here, when we are going to talk about the term discrete theoretical distribution, but in the discrete theoretical distribution, we are going to study two types, two types of we are going to study about the two types of discrete probability distribution and the two types of discrete probability distribution. They are number one, which is called to be as binomial distribution, and number two, which is called to be as a Poisson distribution. Number one is a binomial distribution. Number two is a Poisson distribution. Whereas in case of continuous, continuous के बड़ा ऐसे है total चार examples. There are four distributions. One is a normal distribution. Second one is a student state distribution. Third one is it is called as a key square distribution. Key square distribution. And number four, it is called to be as F distribution. But in our syllabus, we are going to study only about the normal distribution. We are not going to study anything about student state distribution, P square distribution, F distribution. Mass code. So overall, we are going to study only about the three distribution. One is binomial, second one is Poisson, and third one is normal. My last year math students, they might be aware about this distribution, right? तुम लोग ने ये 12th standard में maths में पढ़ा but what you have studied in your 12th standard, that was only the outline. That was only the outline. And now what you are going to study in your CA foundation, that is in full detail. So log ready. So let me start with a discrete distribution. In a discrete, let me start with the concept of a binomial distribution. So you can add some points in that with respect to binomial distribution. With respect to binomial distribution, the first point is binomial distribution is an example of discrete theoretical distribution. You can write all these things in point wise. Point wise तुम लोग लिख सकते हो binomial distribution is an example of is an example of is an example of discrete theoretical distribution. The concept of binomial distribution, it was being introduced by a great mathematician who named James Bernoulli. James Bernoulli. In other words, you can say that James Bernoulli, he was the first mathematician to identify the limitations of probability, and in order to overcome in order to overcome in order to overcome the limitations of probability in order to overcome the limitations of probability, he has introduced the term binomial distribution. He has introduced a term binomial distribution. चलो बड़ा सब लोग ready? And when this binomial distribution,
पढ़ाई के
when
लिए
it
मेहनत तो सब करते हैं, लेकिन स्मार्ट स्टडी कौन करता है? प्री एग्जाम ऐप के साथ बनाइए अपनी तैयारी सुपर स्मार्ट। प्री एग्जाम ऐप देता है वाइड रेंज के एग्जाम्स की तैयारी, जैसे जी, नीट, कैट, सीए फाउंडेशन, सीएस सीट, बैंकिंग, रेलवे, एसएससी, एमबीए एंट्रेंस, एसवाईजेसी, कॉम, टीवाईबी कॉम और भी बहुत कुछ। चैप्टर वाइज टेस्ट्स एंड मॉक टेस्ट्स, डिटेल्ड परफॉर्मेंस एनालिसिस, और अब तैयारी होगी एकदम परफेक्ट। कहीं भी कभी भी पढ़ाई करें, और एक विशाल क्वेश्चन बैंक आपकी तैयारी को बनाए आसान। इंस्टेंट इवैल्यूएशन से तुरंत जानिए अपनी परफॉर्मेंस और पाएं पर्सनलाइज्ड फीडबैक। तो अब देरी किस बात की? प्री एग्जाम ऐप डाउनलोड करें और अपने नाम से रजिस्टर्ड करें, और एक विशाल क्वेश्चन बैंक बिल्कुल फ्री, और अपनी सफलता की कहानी लिखें। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। प्री एग्जाम ऐप स्मार्ट तैयारी का साथी।
when it came into existence, when it came into existence, it was based upon certain assumptions. It was based upon certain assumptions, है ना? And what were that assumptions? ये देखो, ये देखो. So here in this case, according to the James Bernoulli, according to the James Bernoulli binomial distribution, it can be used, it can be used only for the can be used only for the finite number of trials. Finite number of trials. Finite means which is easily countable. It is called to be as finite. According to the James Bernoulli, the first condition was a binomial distribution. Binomial distribution. It can be used. It can be used only for the finite. It can be used only for the finite number of trials. It can be used only for the finite number of trials. अच्छा, now यहाँ पे बड़ा ये actually second point है. This is the second point, bro. And that second point it states that bro, the second point bro, it states that bro, okay, according to the James Bernoulli, according to the James Bernoulli, the subsequent trials, the subsequent trials, they should be independent of each other. The subsequent trials means the consecutive trials. अच्छा, consecutive trials means that means the trials which comes one after the other. It is been called to be as subsequent trials, or it is been called to be as the consecutive trials. Independent means the outcome of one trial, it should not affect the outcome of other trial. The outcome of the one trial, it should not affect the outcome of other trial. This was the second condition, or you can say that okay, this is the second assumption which was been made by the James Bernoulli. Now this is our point number 3. This is our point number 3. Okay, according to the James Bernoulli, according to the James Bernoulli, each and every trial shows exactly two outcomes. It shows exactly two outcomes, and here they go. He named that two outcomes to be as success and failure. He named that two outcomes to be as the success and failure. अब ये भी जो assumption है या फिर ये भी जो बड़ा मानना है वो सब बड़ा किसका मानना था? जेम्स बर्नौली का। ये जो भी सोचा बड़ा या जो भी बड़ा अज्यूम किया ये सब बड़ा किसने सोचा? बराबर है? मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ सबको समझो? अपना मानना ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था बड़ा, जो भी बोला जेम्स बर्नौली ने बोला बड़ा, बराबर? अब ये देखो पॉइंट नंबर 4 is this is the point number 4 over here यहाँ पे this is the point number 4 है ना. अब according to the बड़ा जेम्स बर्नौली, according to the James Bernoulli, the probability of success it was denoted by P. तो याद रखना बड़ा P जो है वो खाली बड़ा सक्सेस नहीं है. P जो है बड़ा वो खाली सक्सेस नहीं है बड़ा. It is a probability of success बड़ा. And according to the बड़ा James Bernoulli, probability of failure, probability of failure, it has been denoted by using a small q. And ये जो notations है बड़ा these are the standard notations. ये जो notations है बड़ा ये कौन से notations है? Standard notations बड़ा. ये इतने बड़ा important है कि तुम लोग उसको अपने हिसाब से बड़ा चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो. भाई चेंज तो बहुत दूर की बात है बड़ा, तुम लोग अपने मर्जी से बड़े उसे कैपिटल P एंड बड़ा कैपिटल Q भी नहीं कर सकते बड़ा. समझा? चलो एक बार बड़ा फिर से रिपीट करो. व्हाट इज P? It is the probability of success बड़ा. And बड़ा what is the Q is? Q कौन है बड़ा? Q is called to be as a probability of failure. Okay. तो यहाँ पे after giving the notations है ना, after giving the notations he has also explained the relation between a P and Q, and according to the James Bernoulli, he obtained the relation to be as P plus Q is equal to 1. He obtained the relation to be as P plus Q. Answer is always equal to 1. अब यहाँ पे बड़ा क्वेश्चन कहीं ना कहीं आ सकता है, दिमाग सोच सकता है कि सर ये बात जो है वो जेम्स बर्नौली को कैसे पता चली कि P plus Q आंसर विल बी ऑलवेज इक्वल टू 1. तो हियर इन दिस केस जेम्स बर्नौली he has taken the formula from the probability और वहां पे बड़ा मैंने तुम लोग को एक फॉर्मूला पढ़ाया था अगर याद हो तो, पॉइंट्स टू बी रिमेंबर में बड़ा पॉइंट नंबर 4. Probability of A plus probability of A dash. Answer is equal to 1. P of A plus P of A dash. Okay, answer is equal to 1. Therefore, P of A answer is equal to 1 minus P of A dash. Okay, P of A dash आंसर इज इक्वल टू 1 - P of A। तो जब मैंने ये फॉर्मूला बड़ा तुम लोग को पढ़ाया था तब सब लोग बड़ा याद करो मैंने क्या एक्सप्लेन किया था बड़ा तुम लोग को कि जो इवेंट है ना बड़ा इवेंट इट इज द बड़ा हैपनिंग एंड बड़ा जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऑफ द इवेंट है बड़ा इट इज अ नॉट हैपनिंग। मैंने कहा था बड़ा ऐसा इवेंट जो है बड़ा इट इज अ हैपनिंग एंड जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऑफ द इवेंट है बड़ा इट इज अ नॉट हैपनिंग। मैंने कहा था ना बड़ा ऐसा और मैंने ये भी बोला था बड़ा कि इवेंट मीन्स इट इज ऑल्सो अ सक्सेस एंड बड़ा कॉम्प्लीमेंट मीन्स इट इज अ फेलियर। तो ये देखो बड़ा यहाँ पे पी को बड़ा कंपेयर किया गया इवेंट के साथ और क्यू को बड़ा कंपेयर किया गया कॉम्प्लीमेंट ऑफ द इवेंट के साथ। समझ में आ रहा है बेटा मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ बेटा? यहाँ से बड़ा पता चला कि P and Q, P means it is the probability of success, Q means it is the probability of failure। तो यहाँ पे बेटा मैंने तुम लोग को सिखाया था कि जो इवेंट का अगर प्रोबेबिलिटी अगर है बेटा उसमें से हम लोग को A डैश मिल सकता है एंड इफ यू नो द बेटा प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ A डैश तो वी कैन फाइंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ A। बोल सकता है? तो ये देख यहाँ पे भी बड़ा सेम टू सेम P plus Q bro, answer is equal to 1। तो बेटा when I am saying that कि P plus Q answer is equal to 1 तो इसका मतलब बेटा क्या हुआ कि P मिला तो Q मिला और बेटा अगर Q मिला तो P मिला है कि नहीं। बट द नेसेसरी कंडीशन फॉर दैट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ बेटा P and Q both of them they should be greater than 0 but they have to be बेटा less than 1। तो तुम्हें तो पता है बेटा कि probability of any event always बेटा it lies between 0 and 1 including बेटा 0 and 1 such that minimum value will be 0 and बेटा the maximum value it will be equal to 1। तो तुम्हें बेटा यहाँ पे भी याद रखना है कि P का और Q का जो वैल्यू है बेटा वो हमेशा बेटा 0 से बड़ा होगा और बेटा 1 से कम होगा। समझा बेटा सबको? इट विल ऑलवेज लाई बिटवीन बेटा 0 एंड 1 बट कभी भी वो इक्वल टू 0 या इक्वल टू 1 नहीं होगा। ये था पॉइंट नंबर 4 एंड पॉइंट नंबर 5 ये है पॉइंट नंबर बड़ा 5 ये है कि द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस एंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ बड़ा फेलियर always it remains bro, constant। Constant means bro, it remains same from trial to trial। Always bro, it remains a constant। Always bro, it remains the same from trial to trial। यानी P का वैल्यू और बड़ा Q का वैल्यू वो कभी भी बड़ा ट्रायल टू ट्रायल चेंज नहीं होगा बड़ा। Always it will remain bro, one of the same। All these assumptions, all these conditions which were being given by James Bernoulli, James Bernoulli, if it gets satisfied, I repeat, if it gets satisfied, then and then only, then and then only we can make the use of binomial distribution. Then and then only we can make the use of binomial distribution. And out of this ऑल कंडीशंस अगर कोई भी एक कंडीशन अगर तुम लोग को नहीं समझा, अरे सॉरी, अगर सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ, तो फिर वहां पे बाइनोमियल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन यूज करना हमारे लिए पॉसिबल नहीं है. ऑल दिस assumptions later on ये देख, they were been named as Bernoulli's trials. All these assumptions later on they were being named as Bernoulli's trials.